Hello and welcome to the aForm Show, the premier podcast for all things architecture and design across the MENA region. Welcome to your tribe. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. Today we are joined by Eddy Abou Khalil, Regional Director for the Middle East and India at Cosentino. Eddy is a global leader in sustainable and innovative services with a strong focus on growth and partnerships. Eddy has led Cosentino through major regional projects like the Address Beach Hotel and Jumeirah Living Marina Gate. His leadership has earned him a place on Construction Week's Power List 100, recognizing the most influential figures in the Middle East construction scene. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Eddy.
Thank you, Alan. I'm happy to be with you.
Awesome. Man, I've been really excited about this episode, I must say. I've been in my head thinking, I have so many questions. I don't know where to start. So I think a good place to start is, I think the people listening, you need to be living under a rock if you haven't heard of Cosentino, or you haven't seen Cosentino, or you haven't, heard of Decton or seen their slabs or anything. It would be shocking if you haven't heard of that. So assuming that the audience has an idea of what the brand is, I would kind of want you to tell them what the journey of Cosentino has been. Obviously, you guys have been in the market for quite a while, established a very strong brand here, delivered projects as well, which is always important. Correct. It's one thing to have a showroom, but to actually then have built work is a different thing. So in your opinion, what has been the sort of secret sauce, if you will, for the growth of Cosentino, and where did it all start?
Amazing. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk about this, because, every brand and every company has their own specifics and what helps them to grow in a specific market. I'm not going to focus on the global level of Cosentino, how the company grew. I'm going to focus at our local level in our markets, in the Middle East and India markets, the region that we control. And something that probably is not as much as celebrated always is your team. Right. Needless to say, the market in the Middle East helped us a lot, obviously, especially in the last years, with all the issues happening at the global level and regional levels. Investments came to the Middle East and specifically the UAE. And now we see Saudi Arabia is also in line for all the investments and the new projects. So these markets, as well as India, because we cover India, and India is an upcoming market. So in the next 5 to 10 years, we could see really India in a totally different place, in my opinion. So all these growth and the positive, let's say, environment of these markets helped us to secure projects. But if you ask many companies, not everyone gives you positive feedback. And the key success of any operation, I believe nowadays, is the team that you have around. And I really proudly say that the team that we have at Cosentino, they were all super handpicked. Right. And they all come with the same attitude and the same DNA, right? That first, we are here not to please anyone and not to make anyone happy except ourselves. So they here for their own success, not to please the boss or to please the company or anyone. Second, they all have an amazing attitude of how to approach, the business and the market. We are not here to sell. We are here to consult and be the client consultant. So whenever the answer is no, we say no, we can't do it. It's not like we want to do every single job just because we want to tick the box, no? So being the client consultant, the attitude of the team makes a big difference and pushes our success in the market. Moreover, everyone is Cosentino. So they are here, the sense of ownership and the sense of engagement that they have is so high. Everyone is Cosentino, is their own company. So this is how they act. So I believe the team was a major reason how we were so ready when the market jumped suddenly in the last 2 years from a level to another to capture the most of the market, because if you didn't have a ready team, you wouldn't be able to fight the war, right? So we've been preparing the army all these past years for the battle that we have now, which is amazing, to see how we were able to capture all these opportunities. I'm very proud of the Middle East and India team that we have here in Dubai, and supported by an amazing company. So Cosentino, I've worked with many, many companies in the past, or big brands in the past, right? The fear and the love to the brand, Cosentino, at the headquarters level is so high. We work to preserve the brand name, and our brands, like Cosentino is the factory, right? But the brands are Decton and Silestone. Right. So we are so much eager on making sure that these two brands remain, the reputation remains intact, right? So the support that we get from the factory is amazing. We never fail a client. Things go wrong, in everything things go wrong. But it's very important how to rectify and work on the mistakes, right? And this is where we really, sometimes in projects, I don't tell clients, I want to share with you references because everybody has references of projects. Let me share with you contacts of customers where where things went wrong and how we reacted. And I'm so confident about it. I say it confidently because I receive calls from clients sometimes after things went wrong. Like, we are so impressed of how you, the company, dealt with our situation. So I believe these two were the main driver behind us capturing the growth of the market.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that's the first time I've ever heard anyone say, speak to the people who the project did not go very well for, and you'll understand how good we are. That is awesome. Very interesting. So let me ask then, right? On the one hand, there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of market share to be captured. Obviously, you guys are in the process of doing that and probably will continue to do that. What is your opinion on competition around you? Is it something that you look at? Is it something that you ignored and you don't care about and we do what we do? Or do you kind of have your eye on the market to see what's happening?
Yeah, it's not a cliche answer what I'm going to say that no, don't ignore your competition, but it's a reality. You cannot ignore what the competition are doing. We're not obsessed with what's happening and, we live with worry, but we need to see how the market is evolving at the end of the day. And we need to understand who is doing what and how they are setting up themselves in the market. And if they are doing something better, we learn, all of these things. So obviously we need to observe what's happening around us. We need to look at competition, access to technology and access to innovation. I think it's not something that is private to anyone, anyone with investment or with some engineering behind it, you can get access to this, right? But I think we're going to go back to people. So having the right people to execute all of this and to be part of your strategy or how to approach the market is important. And this is something that we always need to monitor what is happening in the market. How is the competition approaching the market? How are they servicing the client, right? So we need to look at this. Now, from a product perspective, obviously our headquarters and our R&D team are always on top of this and see who is launching what and what innovations are doing in the surface, right? So it's definitely ignoring the competition. I think it will be a big mistake if somebody would think that, we are the best and always the best, and they will be running blind.
I think you mentioned something interesting, which was you observe how the market is evolving. So it'll be interesting to hear from you, because obviously you deal with pretty much all kinds of projects, someone wanting to do a little, kitchen countertop in their home to all the way up to, 150 key hotel and everything in between. So from your observation, what do you think the market is demanding at the moment? Are they looking for, faster timelines? Are they looking for more diverse product? Are they looking for something they've never seen before? What's the kind of vibe now?
Yeah, super interesting question, because do you mind if I step back and then and then hit the answer here? I've been in this industry and let's say the kitchen world or the interiors world since 2009. Prior to that, when I was in UAE, I was not in the interiors and finishes. And I have seen how the market evolved in terms of nobody, let's say, would believe and invest in anything branded inside the apartment, let's say in the past, even in big projects, except in the things where you can read the brand name. Yes. So here I can read the brand name. Can I name brands or no?
Yeah, sure.
I can read B&O, I can read Miele, I can read Gaggenau. It's good to have them because they give me value.
Bendy cushions.
Yeah, for instance. But nobody would invest in a branded kitchen because who can see the brand? Or branded maybe countertop, granite was the surface of choice, or marble, or whatever it is. And then I've seen how this started changing. The more competitors now go back, like jumped on the game of developers, and they wanted to differentiate themselves. So they said, okay, we have, for instance, Cosentino countertops, or we have X brand of kitchen cabinetry. And then kitchen was a focus. Then they moved into investing into wardrobes, because wardrobes were definitely local production in the past. And now wardrobes branded start coming, and vanities, So how the market changed in terms of surfaces specifically, it's fantastic to see that how 20 years ago, people were scared or concerned about engineered surface. What is this? And there was high resistance on engineered surface. We need natural, we need marble, we need granite. And then slowly, once they learned about the benefits of, from an environmental sustainable perspective or from design perspective and stability of the color that you need at home, because you can produce the same color in thousands of square meters, which is difficult to achieve in natural stone. The sizes of the material. So all of this totally changed, and people start adapting or adopting the engineered surfaces more and more in projects. And today, what we are seeing? Today, we are seeing that luxury is defined by marble and, natural stone, granite, some, how can I say, specific natural stone. Natural stone is luxury. Having this shift in the market in terms of what is the choice of material that they want for projects forced us as suppliers to also, we want to be in the same trend, of luxury and launching material that is veiny, that is a full body design. You have the vein all across the body. You look at the surface is a hyper realistic surface, to be able to respond to these market needs. So if you look at the surface that we have here and you look at these veins or the slab that you have there and you touch the vein, you actually feel the vein. It's not a flat design. Yes. So people want stuff that doesn't look fake, that doesn't look plastic, that look as real as possible, and probably without the hassle of a natural material that is absorbing. It can change color with time, whatever comes with it as a hassle of material. So yeah, this is big time how the market is going in that direction, natural stone, more realistic designs, and whoever can deliver on that is also getting the market needs, let's say, or fulfilling the market needs. Now the specifics of the UAE market, okay, because it's not the same in Saudi, everything has to happen yesterday. Right? So because you asked me about delivery times, in some cases, if you cannot deliver on time, even if you are the product that they want, they might compromise and go with something else. Right. Because timelines are becoming more and more and more tight. And I understand there's a big demand in the market and they want to fulfill that demand. Yeah. So we try to stay on top of that game as well by keeping a big stock in Dubai. And I'm sure other suppliers will do the same, But yeah, if you don't have the material on time, they might go to an alternative product, no problem.
Interesting. I mean, you guys definitely have, again, if I look at Decton, for example, it's a product which I personally have worked with quite a bit. And I've been fortunate enough, the projects that I delivered with these Decton surfaces, kitchen countertops and vanities, for example, I've actually seen them years later. In many cases, like the last project I saw was almost 8 years old, this villa down in Emirates Hills, and the thing looks awesome, like even today. And in comparison, when I look at the stone cladding, say on the exterior, it's not as sharp as it was, or obviously because it's a natural material and it's Correct. Outdoors, etc. It will obviously have some change. But then that got me thinking about designers in the community, right? I think the way that the overall community also benefits from the kind of innovation that you guys are doing is actually the knowledge of the innovation that you guys are doing. Which brings me to my question, which is, if I look back, I recall as a fresh grad, kind of coming to Cosentino talks and things like that. This is way back in the day. I can recall that there was not a lot of brands doing that. I would think
absolutely
there was maybe just one other brand. Now that I think of it, it was them and you guys were the only people doing designer engagement, doing talks, doing, the dinners and everything. But no other brands did that. Whereas if you look at it today, it's become almost like a standard thing that Correct. Everyone does. So my question is, what made you realize that that is the way to kind of get designers in? There must have been resistance for it when someone proposed it. Someone must have said, really? But why? But how? So how did that entire thing happen?
Yeah, not really resistance, but hard selling or putting the product first. Let us assume we are the audience, not vice versa, right? And what do we like and how do we like to be approached? When you go to a car showroom, do you like that all these car salesmen jump on you and everybody wants to take a limb out of your body just to sell you the car? It's so annoying, Yeah. Like you don't want the salespeople fighting and try to take you left and right and bombard you with all of these things that you receive in your phone with, come to us, there's something happening with advert. All of these, they're annoying. And I think the same applies when you're addressing people face to face, when you are talking to people. Bringing people always to your space to talk about your product, it becomes first, they lose interest. What new you're going to tell them every month? You will get the people's attention much better and they will remember you more if you try to build a connection with them, right? And even more than this, if they leave your space with the feeling that they benefited somehow, they learned something new, They're all designers and architects. They're all, they're artists. They don't want to come waste their time, It's nice to do fun events and some events from now, like every now and then, talk about products and stuff, to learn product stuff. But if we want people to be engaged and come every time to our space and remember us, they need to leave with a good feeling and they need to leave like with a feeling that, okay, we learned something new today. Yeah. Hence, if you you remember our events, I would say 1 or 2% were product driven and the rest were not.
Yeah.
Most of the topics were not about Cosentino and Decton and Silestone. They were about things that we are all interested about to hear, like design or, I don't know, trends or anything. I couldn't think about the topics now, but things that are relevant to our industry. And we have to stay close to the industry. And I think this was, in my opinion, people might not agree, in my opinion, the best way to stay close to the industry without bombarding or annoying the industry with product information, and which I believe it's something that not everybody wants to listen to always, right? And I remember talking about this when COVID came, and this showroom was busy always with events and people. And then I was at home, and our marketing manager at that time, Miriam Jano, I'm sure you know her, she was at home. And then we kind of, either I called her or we called each other at the same time. We were saying like, we were such a busy showroom. And we were, as you said, I would say pioneers in this here in the market, doing all these activations, engaging with the industry in a very soft way. We need to do something. And then we started our online version of these gatherings, and these events, whatever you want to call them.
Too.
Yeah, it was amazing. And now, as you said, it's kind of running everywhere. We went out of the online for sure. Everybody went out of the online, but you see it everywhere. People are trying to engage with the industry. Yeah. And here now, we can always be creative. So we do the Pilates sessions. We do, again, not product.
I think what's happened, again, because I can speak more from the designer point of view. When I talk to other designers, when we talk about Decton, Cosentino, generally speaking, I think what you guys have managed to do, probably intentionally, is that through these events, there's something more than the product and more than, bringing the people together. There's something else which happens, which is there is a very strong layer of trust that is built, specifically with whoever it is that is representing Cosentino, right? There forms this trust with that person that they get what I want. It's not that Cosentino gets what my company wants. It's not that, they get what my client wants. This person gets what I want. So if I were to go and say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, I know that I trust that they have my best intent at heart. Somehow that has happened. And I think that is key, because when I speak to other designers, again, I have actually seen meetings where designers have gone and said, no, listen, this just needs to be a Decton surface. Like, let's not argue about it. If it's a cost thing, I'll save you cost somewhere else. I trust it. Yep. It will work. Yep. And you've been able to do that with designers, which is an insanely hard thing to do with designers.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate to hear that. Makes me super happy to hear that. And nothing had happened by chance. It wasn't as well planned in terms of a business KPI. Smart thing to do. No, it's just being real, being us. And this is what we always discuss as a team. What we promise, we have to deliver. If we can't, we don't promise. And that's it. Be next to our client always. It's our duty to do that. No, and I think I don't want to be specific about a certain region, but I think business showed us in the last years that many people are willing to do anything just to 100%. Strike a sale. And what happened next is not important. It's not us. This doesn't give you continuity, and it doesn't give you, let me call it business, right? Yeah. In times of crisis, because when everything is going well, I'm not saying something that is unknown to many people. Testing a relationship or testing anything in good times is not a good test. You need to test it when things are hard. Things go wrong, exactly, or when it's hard time. And this is where you really see what's happening. And during hard time, we always found our clients around us. No? And I'm really happy that you mentioned that. It's something that obviously we wanted to reach that point, but it wasn't a strategy. It was something honest coming out from every single one of us.
Interesting. It seems like you've spent a lot of time, and I think you mentioned this earlier as well. You spent a lot of time really curating this team that you have around you, kind of driving the ship forward. So I'm sure we have a lot of young founders, a lot of, directors who are also similar to you leading teams. So if you could speak to them and you could tell them, listen, from my learnings, from my experience, I think if your team did this, or this, or if you hired for this, and this, it really will take you from here to here, like you said earlier. So if you could speak to them and you could tell them, listen, look out for this, what would you tell them?
Wow. Amazing. And I love a lot these type of conversations more than the business conversations. Leadership is something that I adore, right? And working with people, I think, is the most exciting part of our business, more than products, because people are nothing constant. It's a continuous, it's a variable. It's an amazing variable that every day you have something new, and you learn a lot by working with people. In this regard, my advice for young leaders or for business owners, always surround yourself with people that are better than you, whether on a personal perspective or at work. Don't be afraid of having experts in their own field way more than you, because you need these experts in their own field to give you answers. And then you will do your own evaluation as a leader, but hire people in every single position or vacancy that are experts in that position, even if they are more than you. Your job is not to do the job of anyone, right? And it's very important. Make sure that you listen to them. So when you are in the room and you are discussing something, make sure that you listen to your team. Then take this on and then do your own analysis. So surround yourself with people better than you, people that want to succeed and hungry to succeed for their own achievement. They want to achieve something for themselves, not to please you or to please anyone. And the more they say no, it's nicer than always saying yes, because you need people that say no on your team. No, if everybody says yes, you don't know if you're going in the right direction or not. Good luck for the ship.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is from a team's perspective. As a leader, I think, and I've seen this with Cosentino a lot, because with Cosentino, with my experience at Cosentino, it gave me the chance to explore to full extent my leadership skills and capabilities. And I really enjoyed it so much, driven by the person I report to. He gives complete,
transparency or something.
Not transparency. I'm totally autonomous, right? So, right. And he gives you that freedom to act, right? Which made me explore my skills. And the best form of leadership, I always think about leadership and companies, by the way, like you think about an army, right? So you have the general and you have the infantry.
Yes.
And I always tell the team, the general is not smarter than the infantry. The only difference is that the general has the chance to be in the control room and you are on the battlefield, and he has the chance to see or she has the chance to see the battlefield and gives you instruction. Be careful, somebody is coming from here. There's an enemy on that side, and you'll be on the ground. The best form of leadership, I would say, is the leader that has the ability to sit in the control room and look at the battlefield, and at the same time go down to the ground and fight with his team or her team, right? By having the ability to do both, not forgetting the big picture, because you need to lead the operation, but yet be on the ground with your team to fight, you will gain their trust for sure. You're doing it with them. You're not bossing them, and they will give you their 100% and more. That's for sure.
That's a very good metaphor to have. I've never really thought of it as an army. Like, I've always thought of like teams and things like that. But you're right. You do need someone to kind of be able to look at the macro and the micro together at the same time. Interesting. Yeah.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Because there are so many things in that question. It has many sides or many aspects to answer this question as well. Many thoughts. We learned with time that people work with people, not with companies. This is why I'm not always worried about AI, how it's going to be in the future, because then people work with people. They like that, interaction. So I strongly advise everyone to invest in relationships, right? And whether with internal stakeholders or external stakeholders, invest in relationships. Don't just send the email and, be so technical and, do your job right by sending the right email and the right numbers. This is not enough. Meet the people you are working with, know the internal stakeholders and be close to them. Same to the external ones, your clients, because at the end of the day, people work with people. So build your relationships, your internal and external network, because at the end of the day, people will feel connected to you and they want to either give you business, or they want to work with you, or they want to work for you, right? So investing in relationships is something very important.
True.
Did I deviate from the question, by the way?
No, okay. That's fine. I encourage deviation. It's all good.
All right.
No, that's very interesting to say, because there's so many parallels that I can think of when I think of, if you look at the design world, the way that design teams are structured. I mean, you really need to be able to trust your team if you're going to deliver something, especially if it's something complex and things like that. Like if your team is not in sync with each other, it just becomes so much harder.
Totally.
So much harder to do anything. So investing in relationships is a very good piece of advice, I must say. All right. Kind of then, switching gears, at this point of the episode, I try to look forward, because we've obviously spoken about everything that you've done here and up to this point, and this is where we are. But it would be interesting to hear from you what your foresight is into the future, right? Not just from, obviously for, Cosentino, generally speaking, but your insight to the region. What do you think designers are going to come to you in 5 years and say, hey, listen, Eddy, this is what we need to do now?
God, I wish I know that. I would be ready from now, and I will kill the market in 5 years.
You can have a little crystal ball.
Crystal ball, yeah. It's such a not easy question to answer. But see, I think we discussed a little bit about how the surface evolved, by starting with our plain designs. And today we are talking about the surface that has veins, and the veins all cross through the body. I am interested to see the various applications that designers, I want to know what other applications the designers could use surfaces for, right? Our material for. Today, I started seeing, which something that started recently, I started seeing stone on main doors, the main door of the house, like made full of stone, which is something amazing, they clad the main door with stone, especially in our region with all the sun and everything. If you have a wooden door, good luck and how it's going to age. And now the whole door is cladded with stone, which is amazing. So what other applications could designers think of, Now you want me to know what other applications? I don't know.
No, you've already touched upon a good point, which again, if people listening don't know, solid surfaces or engineered surfaces makes for a very good architectural cladding as well.
Yeah.
And while that has been kind of standard in other parts of the world, in Europe and things like that, it's fairly normal. It wasn't the case about 10 years back over here. But now you are kind of seeing a couple of small projects and things like that, really experimenting and seeing how these architectural cladding surfaces can also work. So yeah, I think the applications are quite endless, actually. Every time I come to the showroom, I keep looking at that chair over there, and I think,
right.
You can design even furniture with these surfaces.
Yeah, totally. We are actually now in an exciting project where sofas, L-shaped sofas and chairs and everything has stone in it, and I didn't see yet the detailed design, but I'm so eager to see where they are incorporating stone in these furniture pieces. Having said that, the stone is a flat, solid surface. And one of our capsule collections, seeing that one of the designers made Decton flexible by cutting it in small pieces and, gluing it on a mesh, and it became so fluid, honestly shocked me, right? So all of these innovations that designers, could think of, or applications, it's what excites us to see what's happening, next, and what's going to happen in the future. And the surface keeps on evolving, by the way. So today, the surface that we have, especially silestone, is not the silestone that we had 20, 25, 30 years ago, right? It evolved a lot, because it was answering to market needs and designers' needs and market requirements. The composition of the material changed. So yeah, I'm eager to see what's going to happen in 5 years, to be honest, where we will be, if we're going to have a totally new surface or not. What are the designs at that time that people want, no?
Exactly. Yeah.
Today is natural stone. Every time we launch any inspiration of natural stone, it goes like chips.
Right. What was the sort of feedback? Because I know, for example, if you talk about the capsule collection, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it in person, and yes, I completely agree. Even I was like, what's going on here? But what was the general sort of feedback that you got from the design community? Where they sort of, it's one thing to be impressed, but it's one thing to be impressed and actually use it in some way, shape, or form. So what was the kind of feedback that you got on that particular collection?
We did 2 capsule collections, capsule collection 1 and capsule collection 2, right? And they both were very successful. And we were shocked with the amount of coverage and the amount of impact that the capsule collection had by seeing it we started receiving publications in the US and some in Europe. I forgot the country, South Africa. We were receiving publications. Yeah. We didn't approach, anyone in these countries. And then we started seeing publications in different countries, in different languages, looking at the collection that we have done. I remember Miriam at that time just coming to me and telling me, look, we had coverage here, coverage there, which we didn't really approach. So that tells me that it was successful and people were impressed, especially seeing, which probably it's something that when you see it done, you say, oh, well, okay, it's like, I understand, it's common sense, but you don't think of it. You don't think that you can do what we have there, like an eggshell shape, but then it's cladded with Decton and the whole countertop is Decton. You wouldn't think that you can do what I told you Omar Al-Gurk did with the fluid, with the capsule collection number 2, Decton door. This is crazy. So the feedback that we got, like, okay, we understand the extent of using the material, how we can use the material. It's not only a table or a flat surface, It's not a countertop only. It's not only countertop. It's not only flooring application. So it can be we have done a lamp, with one of the designers. It had some Decton in it. So yeah, basically it's okay. It's an eye opener on what we can do and how we can use the material.
True. True. I think another example I can think of was actually the Gagano event, the one with the induction heaters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was wild. I mean,
That was amazing.
I wasn't there for the event, but everyone who was there, when I spoke to them later, they were like, who would have thought that this surface can also do this, right? Because again, I think like you said, when you think about it, obviously we've always seen, like a decked on show kitchen next to an actual kitchenette, or maybe a kitchenette as part of, the decked on surface, but integrating it in that induction manner, in that particular design with the stone and everything. I mean, that was kind of wild actually.
Yeah, it was really nice. And the event was amazing. But yeah, the surface is nice. Cooking on your kitchen countertop is a big statement. I like it. Yeah. It's nice.
I can't recall who I was talking to about this, but I think there has been a rise because we do a lot of residential work, right? Primarily. The sort of kitchen space has evolved. Especially in this region, there's always been, the sort of back of house, dirty grease kitchen, and then there's always been a show kitchen.
Correct.
But even the show kitchen was always quite literally a show kitchen. It's where, the flowers came and ended up, and where like the box of chocolates ended up and things.
Yeah. Maximum you boil water on it, that's it.
Exactly. But now that show kitchen has kind of become almost like a third space, because you have your living space, you have your entertaining space, and this is kind of this in-between space now. And I think because people are seeing the value of that, I think that's probably also one of the reasons why, like you were saying earlier, investors and things are seeing the value of that when they actually sell these properties and things like that.
Totally. Yeah. It's another room in your apartment. It needs attention. And sometimes it has some islands are designed in a very crazy way that it becomes a statement piece in the apartment. Forget the cabinets on the wall, talking of the island that you have in front of those, open to the living room and to the dining room. These are statement pieces sometimes, which is, I totally agree. It's where people need to pay attention to.
True. Eddy, I feel like we can talk forever, but as we sort of reach the end of the episode, I kind of, again, like to look forward. Now, in your particular case, again, this might seem like a very difficult question to answer, but you can take your time. What is next for Eddy? What are you sort of working towards? What do you want to achieve? What's on the horizon? What excites you? What are you sort of waking up in the morning today and saying, I can't wait to get this done? What's on your mind?
I wake up every morning and I cannot wait to go to the gym. That's a reality.
Gym is good.
Yeah. Okay. It's an interesting question. From a professional perspective, first, I hope I will look with Cosentino at a retirement. I wouldn't like to see myself out of Cosentino. I'm actually known in the market as Eddy Cosentino now. My family name doesn't exist, right?
It is true. It is true.
So I would love to see myself with this company until retirement. And I'm so ready and eager to experience next step with my current employer. So I would love to see myself riding the next chapter of my career with Cosentino. This is from a professional perspective. From an operation perspective here with our business, I can't wait to open the doors of the Cosentino showroom in Saudi, because now it is in the making.
Exciting.
And I would love us, although we're so happy here with the D3 and everything, but I would love us to have our own space, street level, in Dubai, which I've been searching for the last couple of years.
When you say street level, you're talking about like
our own space, our own showroom somewhere.
Like a Jumeirah Beach Road kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm focusing on that part of Dubai. It's not an easy homework, but yeah, I'm so much looking forward to this.
Can I ask just out of curiosity, right? Because if I were to think about it, the location that you have now, being, sort of in D3, you are amongst the community, so to speak. Going sort of outside of it opens you up probably to a lot of footfall and a lot of retail consumers, I would think. Is that sort of what the intent is, that you also want to be in that market?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We want to focus on education with the end consumer. We want to focus on interacting with the end consumer. Today, we are very much known among designers and architects whom we interact a lot with since our inception at Cosentino. This is what we have been doing. And we will always keep that relationship. We cherish that forever. But with the end consumer, I don't think as a brand, like if you ask 100 people, I don't know how many would know what Cosentino is as of end consumer. Maybe many people would say it's an Italian restaurant or something, right? So I would love us to be with the end consumer, interact more with the end consumer, explain to them why we could be that extra, charge
Value
more
add.
value, what's in that price more than another surface. What's different at Cosentino? How is our service? How we will approach after you buy from us, how we will be with you. All of these things, let the end consumer know repeatedly. So at least we will be in their mind at the time of decision wherever they are in any location, in any store, thinking of a service, right? So I think that is very important, to be with the end consumer. And to do that, we need to be street level and where people kind of are. Then the professionals like yourself, we will always have the connection, the relationship, and actually having space where they can also experience the material more, because it will be hopefully bigger than here. It will also help their business, to see, because seeing in a small sample doesn't help. I have limitation here where we are in our space of few number of slabs, and what you see in this wall is not even 10% of what we have. It's sad.
I was going to say it's maybe 1%.
Yeah. So we have more than 50, 60 colors in that collection. We have more than 100 colors in Silestone. So. Yeah. And you see, I have only 6 slabs on display, so it's nothing, no? So hopefully we can get that and we can interact more than consumer. And this is the target. Yeah, that's the aim.
Interesting. Clearly, you guys have big plans. We wish you nothing but the best. As a sort of closing tradition on the show, we have something called the aForm tradition, which is just a bit of fun, a light way to sort of conclude the episode. What it is essentially a question that's been asked by one of our previous guests, not knowing who the next guest is. They don't know who you are. You don't know who asked the question. And sometimes it's quite silly. Sometimes it's, like, what's the purpose of life? It does become quite crazy. So
I could answer that very easily, by the way.
Okay.
Don't ask me this question. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. So the question we have for you today. Okay, it's a fairly okay one, which is actually kind of fitting, considering I know the brand and I know what you guys do and everything. I think it kind of just happened by luck. But the question quite literally is, if you could have dinner with someone, dead or alive, who would it be and why? I'm assuming they meant more from a designer point of view, but I think in your case, it could be anyone. And I think to make it a little tough, let's not say alive. Someone from the past.
Whoa, okay.
Just to make it a little more spicy.
All right. This needs a bit of thinking.
Yeah, go for it. This is normally when I can hit pause and we're all good, and then you can come back and think about it. It's all fine.
So dinner with someone, and you want me to bring someone out of
retirement.
Let's put it this way. Interesting question.
And it can be outside of the profession also. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I mean, I suppose there are the regular answers, but I'm interested to hear what you say.
I have an answer for this question, but he's still here he's still alive.
All right, fine. Let's hear it.
Because I always wanted to meet that person I'm so interested in his career and his personality and to learn from him. I always wanted to meet face-to-face Carlos Ghosn.
Okay.
Yeah, the ex-CEO of Nissan and Renault. I'm sure you know, right?
Yes.
He's the one that took, at a very early age, he was at Michelin, and then he took the leadership of this company and did the big change, and then took them out from wherever they were to a massive success. So I would love to have dinner with Carlos Ghosn and listen to his experiences and learn from this guy.
All right. We'll put it out there. If anyone listening for some reason knows him, let's make it happen.
Cool.
Well, Eddy, thank you so much for your time. I keep telling everyone that comes on the show, this entire thing that we do is only possible because of people like yourself donating your time and being quite honest and quite candid with what your experiences are. And I think that's what's important, because I think the people listening are really looking to better themselves, better their career, better their designs. And if we can help that in any way, we're always happy to do so. So thank you so much for coming on again.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
And on behalf of the team, we will try and do our best to keep getting you better guests and keep adding value to you. For the rest of you guys, we will catch you guys next week. Fellow aFormer, thank you so much for your time. If this episode added any value to you, please share it with anyone who may benefit. If you want to carry on the discussion, please get in touch with us over socials. We are at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. That is at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. Until next time, stay inspired.